we're good. All right, hello everybody. So excited to be here. All right, so we're going to go around and say all our names and our favorite movie.
Space. Hi, I'm Emily. I like Hayao Miyazaki films. They're animated Japanese. I'm trying to think of the one that I like the most, but I can't. I don't know.
Tony, and my favorite movie is Flowers, The Empire Strikes Back.
That's a good one. Okay. My name is Jolene, and I can't really think of my favorite movie, but one that I really do enjoy that's come top of my head is Spaceballs. The Star Wars thing.
All great choices. My name is Jessica, and I like The Proposal. I'm a romantic comedy kind of gal. So before we get started, I just want to say this is a closed group. What's said here stays here, and I want everyone to feel comfortable sharing. And so we're going to start in on the lyrics. You can highlight and write on the sides or draw a picture on the side, whatever you feel as we listen to the song.
I wish I could tie you up in my shoes, make you feel I'm ready to. I was told I was beautiful, but what does that mean to you? Look into the mirror, who's inside there? The one with the long hair. Same old me again today. My outsides are cool, my insides blue. Every time I think I'm through, it's because of you. I've tried different ways, but it's all the same. At the end of the day, I have myself to blame. I'm just a blame. You can buy a hair if you won't grow. You can fix your nose if you stand slow. You can buy all the makeup that man can make. But if you can't look inside you, wonder who am I to be in a position to make me feel so damn unpretty. Oh, so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and bright. Never insecure until I met you. Now listen to me. I used to be so cute to me, just a little bit skinny. Why do I look to all these things to keep you happy? Maybe get rid of you and then I'll get back to me. My outside's all cool, my inside's are blue. Every time I think I'm through, it's because of you. I've tried different ways, but it's all the same.
Who would like to start us off by talking about what they highlighted? Jillian.
Well, one thing that I did is I liked the I Feel Pretty, It Was So Pretty. I liked how they incorporated that into this
Mhm.
song. And the two verses that really stood out to me, well, I guess the two verses, were just the first, the I wish I could tie you up in my shoes, and then never insecure until I met you. I thought those two were pretty powerful because I feel like everyone at some point in their life can definitely relate to that.
Mhm.
So.
I feel like it's about being true to yourself or not true to yourself, and like how I think for me, like something that I've struggled with and struggle with is how other people's perception of me affects how I feel about myself. And so I just think about like in the first stanza, like the second to last line, it's like the one with the long hair and stuff. And like I know that in this case it's like the person talking about themselves, but to me like that line has like extra connotation because it's like that beauty symbol like in our culture of like I don't know, just like a standard.
Yeah, standard beauty heading, the long, straight, soft hair, really perfect curls.
That's really what I thought about the whole song, especially in the whole part where you can buy your hair if you won't grow, like that kind of stuff right there. It just made me think of the objectification of women really in society and how it's just terrible really how they just put a face of beauty, what beauty is, but I mean, what does that mean really? And I think that's really what this song meant to me really, feeling pretty is knowing who you are inside instead of, what society thinks pretty is.
It's kind of interesting to kind of get the male perspective, because I think a lot of times we, at all our different ages, and I think we kind of like have the whole game here,
Yeah.
As a woman, to feel pretty is just so incredibly important to her. And I think the younger you are, you probably struggle with that more. I think when you get older, you just realize, you just become more comfortable with yourself. And you figure out, well, it really doesn't matter what other people think of me. But I think coming from a man's perspective, what he really thinks pretty is, I think it's definitely more than just skin and hair and figure and those things, that makes a woman pretty to a guy. It just, and the line that said, well, maybe if I get rid of you, then I'll get back to me. It's such a nice contrast to think of it that way, if you have the guts enough to do that.
Who do you think the you was in the song?
I think like a boyfriend or like a friend that they want to impress. So either like a friend that's a girl that they want to impress, or like a friend that they are romantically interested or involved in. Like is what makes a thing to me. Like because I know like personally like I want to like look good for like somebody that I like or something. So I like try extra hard or something. And even though I know it's kind of silly and like I'm kind of at that point where like I'm kind of teetering between the two sides of things. Like I still like I can reason and like know that it's like not that like it's not like who I am, but like at the same time there's like
Maybe you want to say something? No. Oh, okay. I kind of feel like it's really yourself talking in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you see yourself talking in the mirror, it's like when I visually, when I look at myself in the mirror and you see things like, oh, like you can fix your nose, you can get your hair done or put all this makeup on, but like you don't look at yourself in the mirror, like looking in her who you are. Kind of that's kind of how I see it as you. Like there's a different kind of you, kind of.
So kind of like you're your worst critic.
yeah,
Yeah.
I see that now that you're saying that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely see both ways, where it could be a literal other person or self-conflict.
saying, like, I really get that now because it's like, who am I to be in the position to make me feel so pretty? Because that line didn't make sense before, but it makes sense in the context of if it's like self-talk.
Yeah, I kind of just like, I can visualize the song where, you know, she's just standing in front of the mirror talking to herself, and, you know, the mirror's talking back at her, or something
Yeah.
like that. I just get that sense, I don't know why.
It's a good idea to incorporate a lot of the other lines, like Emily was unsure about that one line. Is like the objectification and the beauty standards, is that something that ever goes away, like with age? Like when you're younger and insecure as a junior high or in high school, or like, do you think it ever gets better, like as you age and
No,
no?
speaking for myself.
Like, you mean the self-criticism that you have for yourself or society standards for you?
Either or.
Either are.
Yeah, and like you also made the comment of,
That, like, for instance, that, like, I know that I shouldn't
Yeah.
judge myself by those standards.
yeah, the balance
but
between
still kind of
sometimes you know that you're beautiful and other times you like fall back into the habit of the self-criticism.
Yeah.
I think the standards are still there for women in general, from the world standpoint, no matter what age you
You
are.
just look at, like, what's happening with, like, plastic surgery and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think, and so a lot of cultures, like, if you look at, like, standards of beauty, like, pictures, they have those, like, collages of, like, pictures of, like, women that are beautiful and men that are beautiful in different cultures, and, like, some have, like, the elongated necks, and some have, like, big tattoos, and some have, like, but, like, one of the things that I think is beautiful is, like old people, like, oldness, I think is, like, beautiful. I know that's, like, not the most best way to say it, but, like, I love, like I like the wrinkles, it's like the happy grandma, you know, like that type of, like, the elders, like, I think it's, like, a beautiful standard. I think it's one that's kind of, like, lost its significance in our culture.
Natural aging process.
Yeah, like, yeah.
It has some significance in
And
it.
I really think it's beautiful.
I think it's really sad that women are just, the older you get, the more you look and see every flaw and see everything that's not attractive instead of who you are just as a woman and what you've been through and what your legacy has been.
I think if women, also, like, if women were reminded, I remember there was this story, it was, I think it was, like, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, or some famous couple, like, the woman was, like, she was really down on herself, they almost, like, their relationship, like, almost broke up, and so he started, like, giving her, like, compliments, like, he started, like, maybe you, did you tell me about it? No, you just heard about it, too, and he, like, started, like, giving her compliments and, like, telling her that, like, she was beautiful and everything, and she just, like, started to glow, you know, she just blossomed from the inside out, and I think, like, that's a little bit of what's missing, is, like, it's not that people aren't, like, beautiful, it's their self-confidence that makes them beautiful or not. And so I think it's something that, like, actually we can affect, you know, just by, like, the way that we talk to people and tell them that they're beautiful. And
It's a good point. I just watched a video on, it was BuzzFeed put it out, where they took couples and they interviewed them together at first, and they talked about their different insecurities and different things that they liked about themselves, and where they kind of found their security within the love they had for each other. And then, I think it was put on by Dove, that
They
BuzzFeed.
aged them.
No, they
I
didn't
did see
age
that
them,
one too. That
but
was a good one.
what they did was they took them apart, and the women like had a different like skit to like go through every morning to talk about like how beautiful they were and like uplift themselves. And they had like a beauty routine to go through in the mornings, and then they brought the couples back a week later, but the women thought they were alone. They didn't know that their significant other was there. And so they came out and talked about like how much better they felt about themselves when they had this like daily morning routine of talking themselves up and making themselves beautiful. Like they would put on makeup, they'd do their hair, they would pick out nice clothing, and so they would just like make themselves more confident. And so it just kind of showed the powerful effect of like us telling ourselves that we're beautiful also. So do you think that it's more powerful to hear compliments from yourself or from others?
that's a really good question.
I think a little bit of both, because you have to have that self-acceptance and self, like, yes, I am, but at the same time, it is also nice to have outside validation by that too. So I can see where a little bit of both would probably be in key.
I think once you have confidence, then that kind of transfers on the outside, and people notice it. I think. I mean, if you don't have confidence, you kind of shy away from that and everything. You won't even believe it. If you don't believe that you're beautiful yourself, you're not gonna acknowledge someone saying that if someone walks up to you and says, "Oh, you're very pretty," or something like that. They're not gonna believe it because they don't believe it themselves.
Anything else jump out in the conversations that we've had so far? No? All right. I have an extra paper to pass around. Take one. And as we listen to the song a second time, I want you to feel free to write different things that stress you out, or different things that you feel are unbeautiful, or like objectifications, just different things that we've discussed. As we listen to the song. And yes, get as personal as you feel comfortable getting when you're writing these comments. We won't be sharing them, so don't worry about having to be very vulnerable.
I wish I could tie you up in my shoes, make you feel I'm pretty too. I was told I was beautiful, but what does that mean to you? Look into the mirror, who's inside there? The one with the long hair. Same old me again today. My outside's are cool, my inside's blue. Every time I think I'm through, it's because of you. I've tried different ways, but it's all the same. At the end of the day, I have myself to blame. I'm just a blame. You can buy a hair if you won't grow. You can fix your nose if it's slow. You can buy all the makeup that man can make. But if you can't look inside you, wonder who am I to be in a position to make me feel so damn unpretty. Oh, so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and bright. Never insecure until I met you. Now I used to be so cute to me, just a little bit skinny. Why do I look to all these things to keep you happy? Maybe get rid of you and then I'll get back to me. My eyes are cold, my insides are blue. Every time I think I'm through, it's because of you. I've tried different ways, but it's all the same. At the end of the day, I have myself to blame. Keep on trying. You can buy a hair if you want grow. You can fix your nose if it's slow. You can buy all the makeup that man can make. But if you can't look inside you, wonder who am I to be in a position to make me feel so damn unpretty. You're so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and bright and pretty.
forwarding. Okay, so I want you to pick up your gingerbread man and I want you to look at him for a couple seconds, looking over all the things you wrote down. And then I want you to write them as many times as you want. As slowly as quickly. The tiny little pieces are big chunks. Pick up all those chunks in your hands, toss them in the trash. Great job. Take one of these little notes and the notepad. And I want you to write 3 positive statements about yourself. Be about personality, inner beauty, or outer beauty, whichever you want. I prefer at least one of each. Yes, I want 3 total, but I want at least one. Inner beauty and outer. All right, so are there any concluding statements that anyone would like to make? All right, I would just like for you to take these notes home and hang them up somewhere, like on the mirror, and read them in the morning, or stick them in the textbook of your first class so that when you open it up, they're there. Just to remind yourselves that you do have good things going for you, and you're all wonderful people inside and out. Thank you so much for sharing and for participating in the conversation today.
Thank you.